Here we are on our walk, getting started from our house.
You can see that we have a nice little hill and an enclave here, but we are just right at the very bottom of it, so that's helpful. And it's steep. Like, I can't believe people get their cars up this thing, but they do. We don't generally park up there because we don't want to block in other people. So you see these kind of pozos. These are these wells that's got running water in it, so that's all fresh. And we're just going to go down to our favorite part over here, which is the beach.
So you come up this nice cobblestone path. It's not, I guess the video that I took doesn't show it, but on the right there's grapevines and I don't know, a little farmstead, or it's kind of a building, not really a farm, but there's tools and things like that down there.
It's the mill.
I guess that's true. It is the old mill. The stream runs right through it. Now we moved up the cobblestone path a ways. It's a road, actually, not a path, but it's cobblestone. Come down these stairs here, and there's it's the start of a boardwalk and a concession stand.
This is supposedly going to be hopping this summer. We haven't really had a lot of nice days on the weekend for people to come down, and we thought the beach was going to open this last weekend, but you can see how beautiful and pretty it is.
The water is crystal clear. It's like the mountains in the United States, I guess, the mountain streams, how clear they are. That's what this is too. And you come up here to the boardwalk. On the left is actually a little like farmstead, and there's a dog named Luis that actually came and greeted us on this. I cut that part out saying hello to Luis, but he's there. He comes and greets us.
Luis is our bud. We got to say hello to Luis every time we go by, and we do this walk multiple times a day. So we get to see some good animal friends. I love this because it's just so soothing, and you can make this walk it short. You can go through, and when all of these trees are blooming, there's orange and lemon and mandarin and almond and all of those blossoms. It's just gorgeous.
And this is the beach. It's not cleaned up yet. It will be the grass and stuff. If you look on like Google Maps and zoom into the street view from a few years ago, the beach is like pristine, and I'm sure it will be once the season gets underway too. Right now there's some grass growing on it. It's not a huge beach. I measured it one time. I stepped it off. It's like 40 feet long and 11 or yards, 40 yards long and 11 yards wide. So not massive, but it is a nice little beach, and it's so peaceful and serene. And not right there straight ahead is like a shed with a lemon tree, and I don't know, I like looking at that. It's like an idyllic, peaceful thing.
Coming across this bridge is just like the part where you just stand here and enjoy it for a while. I love that whoever owns this barn has set up a bathtub fountain, which just cracks me up to no end. But it's for the birds. So this hill, though, this is a killer hill.
I recorded the entire trek up the hill.
Yeah, I count. It takes me a good 60 steps to go up this hill. And my goal was always to get to the top of this hill without stopping. I have to tell you that I am at that point now. But it was really humbling. Like the first weekend we were here, there was little old lady. I'm thinking, she had her little cane and everything. And she was just traipsing up this hill and then traipsed up an entire another one to go and visit a friend for coffee. She came and talked to us, and it was like, God, if she can do this, we can.
You can see we're still not there yet. Getting close, though.
And it's very steep. I don't know that you can really tell this, but the cars come here and go straight up the mountain a little bit more for another hill enclave of houses. That's kind of the way things are. You can see
that direction there, yeah.
That there are little pockets of houses. This is the house I want Jason to buy. It was actually started construction in 1728 by a former boat builder, and it wasn't finished until 1965.
And so then you come to the other side of the fence, and that's what this sign is saying, is that it was finished in 1965. And it would be nice to buy it. Unfortunately, it's not for sale. So I think the family still owns it, and the house itself is abandoned, but the grounds around it, they have grapevines and a leek field. I guess I didn't film that as I walked by, but that's on the right. And you can just see this is where we get into kind of, it's almost like a tunnel, although there's nothing overhead, obviously, but it's like a tunnel of green.
It is. I love this. This is that kind of leek field Jason was talking about, and then you can oversee part of the vineyard that's back there. There are two separate lots there. This vineyard is usually where we come upon Miss Lady,
She
our
wasn't
friendly
there.
cow.
She
I
wasn't
know.
there at that. This was like almost 8 o'clock at night. Maybe she was back in the barn by the time I did
Yeah, and
this.
if it's too rainy, she doesn't get to come out. But we talked to Lady. We'll film a conversation with Lady for you, and then you can see several farms along this way. What people do is they buy little pieces of land and they farm that. So all of this land doesn't necessarily go with each one of these houses. And the houses are not occupied all year round either. So sometimes there are people there like on weekends or for holidays. But the lower level of all of these is just garage and storage. There's nothing in them.
So we're coming through. We came through kind of a residential area that I didn't film with a couple of houses on either side. Then you go up, not nearly as steep of a hill.
Now this is easy.
Although it kind of looks like it's steep, it's not that bad. You go up a little hill, and then we come down, and we'll fast forward here through some of the hike and show you the downhill side of our walk. We have reached the end of the big hill, and now we're coming down and back to, I guess, the home stretch, back to our house. And you can see it's fields on either side, the grapevines. These roads are very narrow, and you'll see as we walk along here a couple of cars come by.
Yeah, you have to be prepared. It's literally wide enough for one car. So if there are two cars coming, it's entertaining. You just kind of have to stop and stare at each other and figure out who's going which way. But again, what I appreciate is instead of having fences or any of these things, most of the time people have the stone walls, and then they grow grapevines on the sides for shade. And I have to say that everybody seems to have the same two dogs.
It's true.
So they have some type of a Chiweenie, and then they have some type of a German Shepherd mix thing. But there is a really protective Chihuahua right about here. You got to watch out
On the
for.
right hand side here, there's a house with a Chihuahua that
It's very protective.
very
Yeah.
protective.
It's just hysterical. But we're coming down the other side of the river here, close to it. This is actually a working farm. They own quite a bit of the land over on this side and further up the mountain as well. And so all of those people going by are the family that live there, but they're coming back from fields and taking their delivery trucks and things. But this is more of the river as it comes down through here. And we're almost back at the house.
Almost there. So when I do this walk, it takes, if I do it myself, it's 13 minutes.
Yeah, I'm slower.
I have longer legs.
Yeah, well, that's true. I have to say, when we do it together, it's 15 or 16 minutes. So it's not that bad, but there are times where I'm like, okay, which direction do we go? Because you want to go up that hill, the very killer hill next to the beach. You want to do that, but I don't want to do that every time. Like, it's a lot. So
It is a lot.
down, you have to practice down.
So when you make the turn and you start coming down the hill, it's really busy there, as you saw with the cars. And then not shown was a house with two dogs that always bark. And then we talked about the Chihuahua that always barks. Once you get past that bridge, now we're on the final stretch here. And this is always very peaceful. There is a house on the left where sometimes there's people there. But on the right, there's that ancient Roman aqueduct, and that's the river. And off toward the left is our house.
What I love is that we're still using that aqueduct. I think that's one of the things that you see. You're like, okay, this is all of our recycling and the trash. It's a primo location. There's also a bus stop,
Yep.
and a pulso. But we climb all of these steps, and then you can get into our yard.
Show me dramatically opening the gate and walking back to our front door. And then I stop at the front door.
Good for you.